Hey guys, Huzzy here bringing you another video and welcome back to another Challenger Spectate. Today we are watching literally the Challenger, the rank 1 EUS player right now, Rogue inspired, and actually it's more than that. It's currently the rank 1 and 2 Challenger player. Yes, two of this player's accounts are taking up the top 2 spots in EU West. Now we're watching Nidalee today for a kind of interesting reason. I swear I did a Nidalee video. Meanwhile, Engage is happening. The Kai'Sa Caitlyn, sorry, is getting completely caught out. Doesn't even cleanse. Doesn't flash anything. Does die though, and Tristana picks up the first kill. I swear I did a Nidalee video when she got a recent buff. Well, I say recent. I'm talking a buff like a month, maybe 2 months ago. But I looked through my channel and I haven't. My last Nidalee video, I believe, was like September last year. So like 8 months ago or something like that, 9 months ago, 10 months ago maybe, I don't know, but I was a bit weirded out. So I think I was planning on doing a Nidalee video because she is a kind of staple solo queue AP jungler. She's very good at snowballing, insanely good at snowballing to be honest, and she's high risk, high reward. If it goes good, it's going to go very good, but the unfortunate thing with Nidalee, and just by her design, there isn't really an average game for Nidalee. It's more it goes good or it goes bad, and the reason being, obviously, Nidalee as a champion can't buy defensive items. You know, the champion is designed to deal damage, and yeah, you can buy some defensive items like an Athene's, if you are maybe not doing as good, so you want to get a bit of defense with magic resist and help your team from a more healing standpoint. But in general, you're not buying, you know, Sunfire Cape or Nidalee or something like that. She's going to be relatively squishy. And that is, to be honest, a lot of AP junglers. Even the newest champion that will be releasing, Lilia, there are some people that are doing tank builds with that champion to make it work. But if you are doing the more intended AP build, you are pretty damn squishy. And when Lilia, and I've played her, and I've been seeing a couple of things with that champion, in the back of my mind, I do kind of think Nidalee is maybe just better in solo queue than that champion on average if you are looking to be that carry AP jungler. And, you know, that is, there's other AP junglers, obviously. Echo is probably top tier right now. But Nidalee has that ranged playstyle that obviously is a bit more unique. That's a bit, I don't want to say more skillful, but there's a skill to Nidalee to make it work. Because if you get caught and engaged on, or a Kha'Zix jumps on you, you're dead. Because she's just, in that way, really squishy. Anyway, as you can see here, full clear is happening for Nidalee. Volibear actually top lane, roaming to mid lane very early. And you'll also notice a Doran's Ring Volibear start. This is a growing thing. Meanwhile, Volibear in the jungle of Red Team, very aggressive actually to do that. It's a growing thing on Volibear because his AP scaling is actually pretty damn insane on a couple of his abilities. So having the early AP actually gives you a lot of early game damage. Meanwhile, Nidalee, already level 4, by the way, I just want to point it out. Both junglers have had the exact same time. Kha'Zix has cleared everything apart from Gromp. Nidalee has done a full entire clear. She is also full health versus Kha'Zix, who at the time had a bit of regen, is nearing half health and is now regenning a bit more. That's the power of Nidalee's early clear. It is actually insane, this champion's clear time and speed and everything. And it's always been like that. So she auto-attacks him once, which auto-attack and red buff. She throws vision down to see if he's on his way to kind of contest it. And she's, look at this. She's, instead of doing scuttle, what is the Nidalee doing? She's denying XP. So this is the bully playstyle of Nidalee, of high aggression and everything like that. And this is where, the rank 1 solo queue player is taking their stand, really. Kha'Zix is no slouch as a jungler, let's be honest. A lot of us think Kha'Zix is pretty good. He's in a good place right now, is Kha'Zix. When he does well, again, similar kind of thing to Nidalee. Doesn't really have an in-between type game. All-in champions don't. They either, meanwhile, the miss spear on the crab, see, even challenger players miss spears like that. You either have a really good game or a really bad game, pretty much. As for the game in itself, it's a pretty standard game, team comp. There's nothing out of the complete ordinary with either comp, which, to be honest, for Season 10 is quite rare. There's usually something that is a bit off. What I guess our only thing would be, is this Twisted Fate doing AP or AD? That would be an interesting point. But apart from that, everybody is a more standard pick. You know, the Volibear is at the moment having a bit of a rough time in top lane to the Urgot range versus melee matchup. And this is maybe an example where the Volibear shouldn't have done Doran's Ring. You're against a ranged champion that's going to poke you from range. Maybe Doran's Shield would have been a bit better for your early survival. Meanwhile, Scuttle Crab, fight. This isn't... Well, you can see the damage from Kha'Zix is pretty high, but he is now getting surrounded, exhausted by Tristana. Enemy bot lane engages on the Nautilus and ignores the Tristana, who got a full all-in. Nidalee going all-in on the Senna. She is probably going to go down, but Nidalee herself is in trouble. Does flash away, survives just. Twisted Fate with his gold card is going to set up for the Nidalee to go down, unfortunately, but that will also lead to Caitlyn's death. And now that means Holy Phoenix on Tristana is now on a killing spree, which is obviously a pretty good start for your AD carry. Good play by Nidalee, though. It's that constant, you know, hey, the Kha'Zix is doing crab. I'm not okay with that. I'm going to fight you. And if you actually notice a very small thing what Nidalee did, probably intentional, by the way, there was the Scuttle Crab here, and Kha'Zix was here. You'll notice, by the way, the Nidalee went right next to the crab. That's on purpose. That's to deny the isolation damage from Kha'Zix, because obviously that gives Kha'Zix a lot of strength. Respawn happens, and Kha'Zix straight away goes for the Scuttle Crab. The answer why is reminding people, when both junglers are generally taking their own jungles, where you gain XP advantages are the camps that are shared. So the Scuttle Crabs, those are the camps that either jungler technically would get. It's in the middle of each jungle. It's in the middle of the map. So he needs to get that, and then he'll work back into his own jungle, which obviously is a lot more free XP to get. Because if he lost both Scuttle Crabs to Nidalee, well, there's 2 Scuttles worth of XP that he's then missing. And you can't make up for that, really, at least in the early game. And, you know, I think, by the way, they did tone down the Scuttle Crab XP, because it was legitimately the whole thing of, if you did not get a Scuttle Crab in the early game as a jungler, you were just GG, game over pretty much as a jungler. They did tone that down because that was a relatively unhealthy playstyle, and if you remember it, it was legitimately the time where there were like 4v4 team fights in the early game over Scuttle Crabs. They were that important. I'm happy they toned that down because it was a little bit silly. So again, high aggression level from Nidalee, looking to invade, and we said earlier, normally Kha'Zix is not that type of champion that people are looking to invade and fight actively, but Nidalee as a champion is. Meanwhile, Volibear in trouble here. Is level 6, so is, you know, not a slouch in the ults and everything, but Urgot ultimate comes through. Twisted Fate of all people is tanking the tower, and a pretty straightforward gank there. Tristana as well, killing potentially a double kill. Kha'Zix does a bit sloppy play by Tristana there. Is going to go down is the Caitlyn as well, and probably not. Oh no, Spider-Man move, gets himself away, which is actually pretty damn good. Denies the Kha'Zix that, and obviously that is the type of thing that could get the Kha'Zix back fully into the game, is a double kill, but it's denied. What is Nidalee doing again? Okay, I can see Kha'Zix is in bot lane. He just got himself a kill. He might get a bit of farm. Well, I'm going to deny him his own jungle, so when he comes back to this, he's literally wasting his time. You are literally watching the perfect solo queue jungler here. You can't always help that the enemy gets a successful gank, right? It's just impossible to prevent that, but what you can do is prevent bonus experience. Like, oh, they can't get... So the Kha'Zix isn't going to get a kill bot lane, get some a bit of lane farm, then go back, buy, and then get his own jungle for free. I'm taking his jungle when I know he's bot lane. It's all about that. It's adding up. So Nidalee doing pretty well in the early game. Is now, by the way, level 7. Joint nearly highest level in the game. But you know, XP in League of Legends is a little bit weird. You can see Nidalee already starting the Scuttle Crab while she's finishing off the blue buff, maximizing her farm time and clear time here. Another fight happening in bot lane, by the way. Twisted Fate going down, and by the way, it is, thankfully, AP Twisted Fate. Maybe we need to do... I think the general pick is kind of toned down. You know, AD, I think... It's less popularity because a lot of people have kind of felt it's fallen off a bit, is ADTF. But, you know, I've never seen an insanely successful one, like, consistently do well, where Twisted Fate is considered, and has been for a long time, one of the best AP mid laner carries in solo queue. But he's really difficult, that's the point, really difficult to pull off. But that is why some of the best solo queue players in history who are mid laners value Twisted Fate incredibly highly for solo queue. You get pro players a little bit different, but the reason being, He's good at farming. He's good at wave clearing when he gets items. And then it's the map pressure. Map pressure is very important for solo queue because a lot of people always say, how do I carry? How do I carry my team? You know, I do well, my team feeds. Well, a good way of helping your team not feed is go around the map and kill everything. So Twisted Fate gives that, and also Nidalee is a great jungler for showing that too because of her pressure constantly on the map. So again, she loves, by the way, this control ward, this Nidalee. Always planting it. Obviously, it's going to get cleared, but the idea of it is the idea is obviously jungling is a game of cat and mouse. That it's chasing each other around and knowing where people are. Also, my screen may have just gone orange because it just reached 8:30 in the evening, so I'll turn that off. So I'm back not being orange anymore. And if you could just simply know where the enemy jungler is, well, what that does is relieve the pressure on, am I going to get ganked? So that ward there is simply of, oh, Kha'Zix is there, he's clearing my control ward. So guys, feel free to go for an all-in bot lane if he's over at his blue. That's the general idea. Dragon spawning again, by the way. Oh, actually, has it even been done yet? I don't know. Potentially Caitlyn getting called out by Nidalee. Is there going to be a flank on? Potentially gold card. Q coming in by Nautilus. Gold card. Diz unfortunately times out. Twisted Fate pops his ultimate, which just gives pure vision of Senna, so she can't get away. By the way, Rift Herald wasn't stopped. Maybe could have been. But that will now back off the Nidalee onto the dragon. Which I think is the first dragon. I can't remember if they fixed the replays to actually show them here anymore. We're about to find out. But yeah. So item build from Nidalee, standard so far. I presume it will be a... Oh yeah, there we go. That was the first dragon. They did fix that. It probably will be a Morellonomicon, possibly for Nidalee as her second item. And as for her runes, by the way, while we're in a bit of a downtime, Electrocute Nidalee. So that is obviously the playstyle of Nidalee that wants to run Electrocute is the all-in playstyle. You're only going to proc Electrocute if you land your spear generally and then go in with Cougar form to do the rest of the Electrocute procs. So Electrocute, sudden impact, so after a dash or leap, whatever, so Nidalee's own dash obviously, or leap it might even be. Zombie ward, so aggressive warding, and Ravenous Hunter obviously for sustain. And then Sorcery. Nimbus Cloak is pretty standard nowadays. Whoa, two people are in the bush. Nimbus Cloak, Celerity for movement speed, and then attack speed, adaptive damage, armor. And worth knowing, everybody, right now, there was just a 3-level lead in the jungle, but Kha'Zix just leveled up. So there is a 2-level lead for the Nidalee right now. Nidalee gets 1 kill, I presume, from Red Smite, because I don't know how else... Or it was either Red Smite or a trap that the Senna stood on. I'm not really sure. Kha'Zix going hyper aggressive. Very questionable by him. A lot of flashes just happened, but he does go down. So, you know, maybe the Kha'Zix a little bit desperate, feeling he's a bit too far behind. If he got that pick, that would have been a little bit of a shutdown on the Nidalee. And it's not just, you know, hey, I get that kill. It's also slowing the Nidalee down. Look at the farm at the moment. The Nidalee is up with some of the highest farm numbers in the game, with also maintaining more kill pressure than the Kha'Zix. This is just an insanely dominant performance for the Nidalee. She does get the Caitlyn alongside the friendly bot lane there. And yeah, very dominant performance. Hyper aggressive. I can't say that word enough, really. And it's the... Well, want of a better word, she's hunting the Kha'Zix, right? That's kind of the playstyle, is... I'm not just ganking, I'm not just going to lanes, I'm looking for the Kha'Zix in his jungle, and if he's not here, oh, there's a camp there, that's mine now, I'll take it, because one, that puts me further ahead, there is farm that I'm now gaining, and that the Kha'Zix can't. We spoke about it earlier, if both junglers take their own jungles, the only camps then available are the neutral ones, the scuttle crabs, so that's usually where the difference in XP comes, whichever jungler gets the scuttles. But if the Nidalee's also taking the Kha'Zix's jungle, that's where the separation even gets bigger, because the Kha'Zix isn't even getting his own jungle. And this is Nidalee. This is actually exactly what I would have wanted to show in a replay so far, is Nidalee has been like this for a very long time. And obviously, you know, champions go for ups and downs, and Nidalee, you know, like all, if she's in a weak state, she's not really going to get played. But I actually think she's pretty strong for solo queue. You know, she's not really a champion you're going to see in pro play too much, unless she's just like ridiculously overpowered. But back in the day, if you've been not around for a long time in League of Legends, Nidalee used to be a mid laner, by the way. That may surprise some people, and she had the exact same, you know, she was human and then Cougar form. but she was just a spear bot. Her spear was a very low cooldown, you know, maybe a bit lower to what it is right now. Anyway, blue buff being stolen, as we mentioned, she's just taking XP. Twisted Fate going a little bit too deep. A whole enemy team there, basically. He does go down. But the blue buff is stolen, and that's good. But yeah, she was a mid laner, so her Q, her spear may have been a bit of a lower cooldown than what it currently is, but it did more damage. It may have been, I can't remember right now, if it's a 1-to-1 scaling. No, it's... it might be, actually. It might be a 1-to-1 scaling or something like that. But trust me, the scaling of her spear used to be literally mental. You're talking that, you know, to being averagely strong on Nidalee, you were landing 1,500 damage spears in late game. And, you know, you could do that every 5 seconds. And it was like, what? So they got rid of that AP Nidalee mid, but... she still does damage, but they put her in the jungle. Nidalee going aggressive just misses that spear. And that's an important lesson to learn. Whenever I've played Nidalee, you know, the comments loves going, you miss so many spears. Or like the same with Lee Sin, you miss so many Qs. What you have to understand with a champion, especially like Nidalee, is it's some, yeah, you want to land as many as possible. That's the idea. But you're not, trust me, these players, even Challenger, they're not expecting to land probably even 50% of their spears. It's pressure of just throwing them. Constantly, and it's, you know, it's the important the spears you do land, great, amazing, but you can't get, you know, disheartened of you're missing some, because that one spear that you land could then win you the game. You got to constantly just be throwing them all the time, and making the enemy team feel on edge is just constantly chucking these spears. Volley Bear on the back foot though, Twisted Fate going aggressive. Nidalee spear lands, and that is a dead bear. He put the E, which obviously would have given him a shield, a little bit too far away for even surviving there. I don't know what that sound was, but it sounded like either something broke or something fell down. If something did in the background, then I guess I'll find out later. Anyway, moving on. Dragon being started by the Nidalee. There's vision of Kha'Zix on the map right now, so that means there's no contesting. And by the way, everybody, the XP difference between Kha'Zix and Nidalee has opened back up to 3 levels. And again, it's opening because Nidalee's farm is absolutely mental right now. She's denying farm. Well, she's taking all of her jungle camps. She's then also taking some of Kha'Zix's camps, and she's getting the neutral scuttles and dragons. That's why. But at the same time, being involved in over 50% kill participation right now. So yeah, this is why this player is rank 1. And reminding people, because sometimes I think people kind of forget, we've mentioned this a couple times in these commentaries, it may not look incredibly impressive sometimes what these Challenger players are doing, but what you have to remind yourself is they're against Challenger players. So if this Challenger player was in a lower rating, it would be an absolute bloodbath, but it's Challenger versus Challenger. And that also makes for an even more impressive of how this Nidalee is doing, and being a 3-level gap probably against another Challenger player. It's not really seen that much, and it's very impressive. Because Kha'Zix going aggressive. So a 3-level, by the way, a 3-level down Kha'Zix still has the confidence to go all in on the Nidalee. By the way, he does flash away. Nidalee just survives. Nautilus going aggressive, and that will be a dead Kha'Zix. But let's be honest. That Kha'Zix was going to kill that Nidalee in a 1v1 if she didn't have flash or anything like that. That does show the strengths of the champion and how you have to play to your champion's strengths. Nidalee doesn't want to try and 1v1 a Kha'Zix when he has the aggression, right? If Nidalee is invading and she lands a spear, she has the aggression level. But if Kha'Zix is using his ult, stealth, get the isolation damage, Nidalee's in trouble. And you just saw that. Anyway, that was all because of Rift Herald. I think 3 or 4 roughly of the enemy did go down. I don't know if any of Red Team did, but they are now returning to the same Rift Herald that started that fight, and it will be taken once again by that Nidalee, which obviously, again, XP difference for the Kha'Zix and the Nidalee will be only increasing. She is it sounds crazy to say, she is not that far away from being double farm at 19 minutes. And, you know, we're not talking that Kha'Zix is farming terribly here. He's over 100 farm, which is mad. Nidalee's just nearly at 200. And by the way, she's gone for the Rod of Ages build, which is actually a classic Nidalee build. I didn't know that was the one that people are still doing, but it's a classic Nidalee build. And what is it for? It's actually for scaling. Naturally, being a Rod of Ages is a scaling item. You get more stats the longer you have the item up to 10 minutes. But yeah, it's one that I didn't know people were still doing, but clearly is still good. Now buying that Zhonya's, not surprisingly buying that Zhonya's now that the Kazakhs was a little bit scary in the 1v1, even though there was a 3-level difference. And now, again, reminding people, it's now a 4-level difference. This is the point. This is an absolute stomp performance, and the Kazakhs isn't even doing that bad. Enemy team looking aggressive here. Maybe not the right thing to do. Nidalee's on a rampage. Nidalee gets a double kill, and that will be what, godlike? It's always hard to remember exactly. A Scuttle Crab, will she get this? Yes, she does, because he's 4-level smite difference. And, you know, a smite difference at the moment. So Nidalee's smite is doing 800 damage, and Kazakhs is doing, I think it should be doing, it's doing 640. So, you know, quite a big smite difference there, 160 damage. You know, what that means if both junglers smite at the perfect time for what that smite can do, Nidalee's going to get it every time. Baron's being started at 20 minutes into the game. Easy Baron, you know, happening pretty quickly. And worth noting, that Nidalee, I'd say, has made this game very, you know, a domination performance here. But let's, you know, not take away some of the credit from the others. The Urgot's done really well and denied a Volibear, who's known to be a very strong champion in the current meta. Anyway, enemy team going aggressive. Nidalee and Urgot on the back foot, does get ulted, does the Orianna, and now they will make their way out with no deaths happening. They should go back very soon because Dragon is sporting at 50. But yeah, the Nidalee's had a good game, but the Urgot's done well. The Tristana, obviously, from that first blood, not doing bad, but is also down on farm. So not like a complete stomp in bot lane. If it was a complete stomp, it would be good KDs, but the Caitlyn's died 7 times and has still got more farm than Tristana. So that does show Tristana may have missed a bit of farm, which obviously we all do. But yeah. Right, so Zhonya's has been built for Nidalee and now finally building into that Lichbane. Now that is what I would have thought she would be building second. A domination snowball performance from Nidalee. Lichbane is usually a rush item because, you know, it gives you the most damage or a lot of damage when you're jumping in with Cougar form and you combine the Lichbane proc with the Cougar Q, it does crazy damage. But the Nidalee, smartly, is, you know, focusing survivability. I'm doing well. I'm fed anyway. You know, I don't want to die. Deny the enemy team gold and everything. Kazakh's not easy. He did it. He went aggressive. Questionable. You know, maybe he's a bit tilted. Who knows? But he does decide to take on 4 enemies and obviously doesn't come out on that too hot. Caitlyn getting stun locked does go down for the Twisted Fate with a Nidalee Spear helping. And enemy team probably should run away from this fight. Orianna is now running the wrong way. I wouldn't recommend that. I'd probably recommend to run the way back to the base. But there's no point chasing it, so she does actually survive. And, you know, that's a smart thing of knowing when to just give up the chase because there are more important things to do, like killing the other people that are less fast. Because Orianna obviously has a movement speed buff with her W from her ball. Senna doesn't. Well, does she have movement speed with her W, the ghosty effect? I actually don't remember. She might, possibly. Now that I say that, I think she does. Dragon is surprisingly up and not being taken instantly from red team. That does surprise me, because that has generally been what the Nidalee wants to do. But you could argue she's not in a massive rush to do it, because the enemy team are so far behind. There's no panic, you know. Does the Kazakhs really have confidence to take this Dragon? Probably not. And that now, by the way, is level 16 Nidalee. 5 level difference between the junglers. 100 farm difference as well at 23 minutes. Yeah. Again, I don't do... people know, I don't do much vetting with this game. Is that the game? Oh. Enemy team surrender, if you're wondering what just happened. It didn't come up here, so that was a bit weird. I don't do much vetting with these games. I kind of have an idea of like, oh, who do I want to watch today? Either it's a specific champion, or I like, oh, I want to watch rank 1 today. What have they been playing recently? And that's the way that I did it today. I was like, right, what's rank 1 been playing? Oh, they did a Nidalee game. Let's have a look at that. And that's generally all I look at. And yeah, very impressive. This shows how to kind of, you know, this looked like the Nidalee was smurfing. Pretty much. Let's be honest. It looked like she was smurfing, but nope, this is the rank 1 challenger account on the main account. And, you know, maybe, well, should we have a little look? Should I have a little look on what rank the the Kazakhs possibly, just to end the video, because I know there'll be some people that are curious, because let's be honest, I'm curious, because that was just a very dominant performance. But it is worth noting, it's no BM or anything. This is the ideology, or everything you want to say. It's snowballing. Snowballing happens in every single rating. You can't get away from it. It exists. And when one jungler gets that far ahead, the other one struggles. So this Kazakhs, by the way, is not Challenger, but is Grandmaster, so one rank down, but probably is a Challenger player because they are currently at 657 LP with a 57% win rate. So yeah, clearly a Challenger quality player. And yeah, reminding people the Challenger cutoff point on EU West is extremely high rating compared to a lot of other servers. I don't know why that is. I guess more active high rating players. Because yeah, 650 LP in Grandmaster and you're not Challenger yet. That's kind of crazy. But that is the game. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Feel free to replicate that. It'll be hard, but heavy aggression, heavy invading, and a lot of denying farm was kind of the main point there. I take your farm, my farm, neutral farm. Oh, I'm 5 levels ahead. Boom. What can you do, Kazakhs? But still being careful. That Kazakhs nearly killed the Nidalee in the 1v1. But that's going to be it. If you guys enjoyed, throw a like on it. Let me know what you want to see down below in some of these Challenger spectates. By the way, will I say, you guys did enjoy when we did a content creator feature episode. We did one of Vixie. We might do another one of her games soon because she does pop off and it is relatively impressive. But I have already asked Bizzleberry, another content creator, can I do a spectator of him? And he has said yes. So I will be looking at his profile every now and then over the next week or two to see what can we do of his, and we will do a spectator Bizzle as well. But that's going to be it if you guys did enjoy all the good stuff that I've already said like twice, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.